Unidentified vessel. Please submit your clearance codes. I can bring you in warm. Or I can bring you in cold.
This is Justin.
The Force will be with you.
This is Josh.
This is Kyle.
This is Maggie.
And we are the Outer Rim Beacon.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday night. You have now tuned in to the Outer Rim Beacon Orb Force 99 live stream coming at you on a Friday night. Fantastic Friday night. Way to kick it off, Bad Batch. My name is Justin. I'm one of your hosts. Joining me tonight, as always, are my co-hosts.
This is Josh, and I don't know if you guys know this, but Rihanna is a billionaire now.
Mm-hmm.
Proud of her.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You kind of stole. This is Kyle, and you kind of stole that from me. I was going to mention that. I saw it on the Instagrams the other day, but I've got my co-pilot back there. I'll try to keep him quiet. He won't move.
Kind of short for a Wookiee.
Yeah, and he's just got a haircut. It makes him look very slim. But
Yeah.
he probably won't move. I assure you, he's alive. Don't worry about it.
That's what they look like under that fur.
And I'm Maggie, and I got myself a new Raylo shirt today from Bippity Boppity Boutique.
Ooh, nice.
I ordered it back in like May 4th, and I forgot. I'm waiting for mine to come. My Outer Rim Beacon shirt shipped yesterday.
Nice.
She wrote a whole song about it.
Nice. It'll get there quick. I promise. It wasn't a long delivery. So, well, welcome everybody. Happy Friday night. Hope you're getting your weekend started off right. If you're here with us talking some Bad Batch, talking some Star Wars, talking some Rihanna and ponchos, then yes, you are starting it right. Hopefully you have an adult beverage with you. That's always fun and enjoyable to have while we discuss some things this evening. But yeah, in case you guys didn't know, we did put 2 logos up on TeePublic. You can go, if you want, you can go buy a shirt, you can buy a mug, you can buy a pin, a magnet, whatever. Has the Outer Rim Beacon logo. They're very soft, very comfortable. This is the regular tee. But yeah, they're great. They're great.
Looks good on you, Justin. Probably look good on anybody.
I know. The green is not my color.
Is that
belongs
an insult?
Looks good.
No, it was like everybody should have one.
Yes, everybody
should
should.
be perfect for St. Patrick's Day. I'm just saying.
It should be in everybody's closet.
Yes,
because
dual
that's Kelly
purpose.
Green. I think that's Kelly Green.
It is.
Yeah.
It's Outer Rim Beacon green. It's a proprietary color, but it'll definitely work.
It's in the works. We're talking to Crayola right now.
Yeah,
You can get them in many colors, though.
Yes, they come in many colors. I think it actually
should get one of
actually
each,
looks
and
good
then
on the blue.
assemble all
There's
kinds
a
of
blue.
outfits.
There's I think it's not bad on purple. It's pretty good on purple. Oh,
Watch out!
Oh, thank you.
It's a married man.
I was a bobcat, so I was used to a hunter green.
Yeah.
Was their green? Yeah, hunter
Actually-
Not
green.
to be confused with Wildcat.
It was
if you-
bobcat. Yeah.
If you order a shirt
You.
in the next 6 hours and 55 minutes, you get 35% off.
35.
Ooh.
That's more than a third.
Whew.
They're giving
That
T-shirts
is
away.
Pretty good. I will have to order some more. So, but yeah, go check it out. tpublic.com. Just type in Outer Rim Beacon, all one word. It pulls up both of the designs that are there. We're gonna work on getting a couple more up here. We've got some in the works and some in our heads that we would like to put pen to paper, and hopefully we can get those out there pretty soon too. So, yeah, 35%. That is not a small percentage. That's a sizable chunk. So. Go check it out. Go check it out, people. Well, hope everybody's having a great Friday night, man. I tell you what,
Ask Bobby to look good on you, man.
I stayed up late last night. I watched Suicide Squad. I was up till like probably 1:30 in the morning watching Suicide Squad because it popped up on HBO last night. So I watched that. And then I watched Bad Batch this morning. I have started my weekend off right.
Yeah,
It
you're
is
ready to
going
go.
well so far. It is going well. So
I'm excited to go catch what the heck's it called? The Suicide Squad. Yeah, that just came out. I've heard
It was good.
It's really popular.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Good ratings on
I liked it better than the first one.
Tomatoes and whatnot. Oh, I hated the first one, so the bar is very low.
Yeah.
Bar is very, very low.
Do you know why it's better than the first one?
Because it has a giant
Because it
shark.
has John Cena. I heard he's actually really good in it. But
That was pretty
He's
good on the
actually a
intro music.
surprisingly good
I'm a lifelong
actor.
wrestling fan. So
Yeah, he is in it. He is really good. I mean, the characters in it are great. It's very twisty, turny, surprising. So I enjoyed it. I loved it. I had my headphones on and was just in the dark and watching it on the iPad. So it was nice.
Nice.
Anyway, we got a lot to talk about in Bad Batch this week. Kyle, I'm gonna start with you. We are in the last two episodes of Bad Batch here. We are in the last two episodes of Bad Batch here. This first episode, part of a two-part arc, as they basically said. What were your thoughts going into this? What did you hope to see? And then what were your kind of big takeaways from this episode?
Well, I was really hoping they found a way to pull together a lot of the stuff they've been touching on throughout this season. I haven't been so over the moon about the whole thing. I'm biding my time because I believe in Lucasfilm Animation and Dave Filoni, and like I know sometimes a slow burn really pays off in the end. And so far, I think the first half of this two-part finale was really good. It's some of the best stuff of the whole season. And they did announce season 2 already, which I think was a little bit of odd timing for me, but now we know that it's happening. So we know that they're going to continue to build on all this stuff. And I hope we dig into more of the stuff we really enjoyed and get a little less of the kind of, just fluff in there. And we really get into it in season 2 and figure out who these clones are and what they're becoming and what role they're going to play in this larger universe and setting up the rebellion and all that stuff we're interested in. But I really loved it. I loved this episode. It was a great cliffhanger at the end. I'm excited to see how we get out of it and what happens with Crosshair and all that. Yeah.
I will say this, just because I find it funny to go to the IMDb page and read and check the scores and see what it got. So far, it is the highest rated Bad Batch episode on IMDb's page with a 9.3. That's actually pretty impressive. Yeah. So good ratings across the board there so far. Josh, as the kind of canon expert here, there is a lot of talk about the clone uprising, which we have not seen.
Are you talking about the clone uprising from Battlefront 2?
Maybe. But there is, it's on a different planet, I believe. Is that correct? It's not Camino, I don't think, is where it actually occurs. But
if I remember correctly, it was on Camino because yeah.
But this clearly is not happening on Camino because they just leveled it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know this, but in 2012, when Disney bought Lucasfilm, they made everything not canon anymore besides the feature films and the cartoons. So maybe we just won't see that.
Yeah, that could be.
Or they could do it somewhere else in a slightly different way.
Change things about it, but it still works the same way,
Nalaste was escorting those clones off to somewhere.
And it's evident that we clearly have clones that don't want to do what the Empire's telling them to do with
there's a few.
Yeah. So maybe that's what Rex was doing in the last episode, was he was freeing clones that didn't want to be part of the Empire's war machine. So I don't know. But overall, what were your
I have a prediction.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so my one moment so I thought this episode was really, really good too. And I thought that the moment where they bombard and destroy the city on Camino was very, it was like, this is our official bookend of the prequel era. Like the prequel era is now done and we're in the original trilogy era. It's kind of emotional that it had good music cues for that. But I will saying that though, I think that what I'm worried about the next episode, or like maybe I'm not worried, but I'm wondering what they're going to do, because this episode could have been a perfect cliffhanger for the season. Like we don't know what happened to them. It ended on a dramatic moment. But I guess and here's where my prediction comes in, is maybe that's the thing we see to close out the season, is them meeting back up with Rex and a hodgepodge of clones to, start.
Yeah.
And then that's where we see either the lead into the uprising in a new place or the uprising itself.
That's kind of what I was thinking too, is that now that, these clones are separated out, I think it'd end more on more of a high, I don't want to say a high note per se, but hey, we've grouped together. We're now going to go out and fight the Empire as best we can. And then that's where we leave our heroes going into the second season. And like Rebels, right? I think when we jumped in at the end of season 1 into season 2, it wasn't in a bad place. But then when we come into season 2, you've got a different Sabine. She's changed her hair. Ezra's a little bit different, a little older, a little bit more mature. They're like jumping right into the action. Maybe that's what we see starting season 2. But you're right, Josh. You're right. Is the end of an era, a little sad, birthplace of Rex and Cody and all the clones that we love, and it's gone. Done.
Hey, Rex hangs around for a while. He was on Endor.
Yeah, he was there for a long time. So, Maggie, I'm gonna talk to Maggie here for a minute, because Maggie, Crosshair, your boy, nail on the head. I removed my chip a long time ago. This is who I am. I'm a jerk.
I was like, I knew that toothpick man was a jerk face from day 1 during the Clone Wars. Literally, when that happened, I was like, well, at least I've been right about something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I thought that was a really compelling moment. I don't want to be like poo-poo head, but like I wish that we had gotten some more like Crosshair like grappling with being abandoned, because clearly that was like something that like annoyed him.
Mm-hmm.
But it was never really shown. Like the only scene that we saw was when he was just sitting in their barracks with all of the new replacements, and like they never really dwelled on his emotional like state. And so I felt like that wasn't as impactful for me as it could have been. Same with Hunter, because we saw how quickly all the clones just like replaced Crosshair with Omega and literally gave Omega all of his things. And so like the emotional stakes weren't as high as I was hoping for, but I still think it played out fairly well. And then Tiernan and I were talking today about how it's like Crosshair's like, I am with the Empire. And then Hunter's
He's Justin.
like, it's just a phase. I'll just take him with us. It's all good. He'll be fine. He'll wake up. He's just having a mood. Yeah.
Boom. Loaded up, ready to go.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
But it was interesting.
I didn't know Crosshair was a scene girl.
He is a scene girl.
I don't know that the bow and the flower are standard issue though in the Empire.
But like you were saying, Josh, I
special
felt
unit.
like this
Pink
could have been
Trooper.
the finale. This like definitely could have been the finale. So there's a part of me that's a little worried that they'll undo the impact of this episode by making it like happy ending for the finale, but I still don't think they will. But I'm keen to see what they do. And hopefully they don't undo and undercut what they've established, because they got some really good beats this week.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kyle.
I think you're right about Crosshair. There's definitely more there. It's more than just like, well, I had my chip and then they took it out and I was still like, yeah, let's murder people. Like he feels abandoned by these people, and I think his chip was activated and he had no choice, but they never came to rescue him. And then by the time the chip was taken out, he was stuck in this situation. He had nobody to help him. Was he going to go on the run on his own? He doesn't know that these people are necessarily going to take him back. And then he's like, I'll just stay here. So I think there's more to it than like, I just love the Empire. And I actually think they are going to dig into it. He's not just there. Like I think he felt backed into a corner and now he's like,
definitely
stuck.
But I wish we got that. I wish we saw that.
I think that's what we're going to do this next episode.
I so hope,
because they're going to be trapped together.
I loved when Hunter was like, when did the chip get taken out? Because he was thinking of Braca and thinking like, did you try to murder all of us without your chip? Like it wasn't, because that changes a lot of things, but that's some of the stuff that I just wish that they.
This is a good point, because I never thought he was a completely reliable narrator. Just because he said it got taken out doesn't mean it necessarily did, in my opinion, because why on earth would it?
Because he touched
That's
his
the
head.
only thing I could think of is maybe when he got toasted, it just
Fried.
toasted it. Yeah. But because otherwise, there's no reason the Empire, if
Took it
he's a
out.
valuable asset to them, would be like, okay, you're cool. We'll just remove it. They absolutely wouldn't. So.
Unless Crosshair's like, yeah, I got my chip taken out. Do you still want me back?
Wink, wink. Like, come on, guys, take me back in.
I
Yeah,
will say, as
go
much
ahead.
as I don't like Crosshair, he made some really good points about Omega when he was like, why, like, she shouldn't be with you, she should be somewhere
Yeah.
else. Like, what is
Yeah, he
what are you
wasn't
doing
wrong
with this
about all
child?
that.
Like,
I
why are you
was
dragging
like,
this kid with
okay,
you? Yeah.
when your least favorite person starts making some points, you know you've probably made a mistake or two.
Yeah, and I think he's, to your point, Meg. He feels left. He feels abandoned by his friends, his brothers, and he's like, "Well, I basically had to survive. I had to pick something. Like, you guys left me. I had to do something."
I mean, Hunter is basically the architect of all of this because he didn't go back.
Yeah, but he's also, I think if they, and I know that's probably a lot why Hunter took him. He's like, look, he doesn't belong here right now. He doesn't necessarily belong with us, but we need to figure out where he belongs, and we need
I
to
think
try
he
to
knows
help
he was
him.
right. He was right that they did abandon him. He was right that they're maybe not doing the best thing with Omega, and I think he wants to try and repair those wrongs he did, because there are wrongs on both sides for
But
sure.
he's got a good person though to kind of help him with that, because Echo was in a very similar situation, not intentionally left behind, but they couldn't. I mean, he didn't even know he was alive until they figured out who he was. But here's another soldier who was left behind by the Empire, or by the Republic, and they found him and rescued him and brought him back, and he's kind of found his place with the Bad Batch. So maybe Echo can kind of help Crosshair get back into the fold and feel welcomed again.
One, I feel like Echo and Wrecker and Omega should just like cut and run and just like leave Hunter and Crosshair to deal with their own shit together. But two,
And Tech doesn't factor into this at all.
Tech doesn't exist. I'm sorry, Tech doesn't exist. But I wonder, and this is what I'm getting at, where like there's so much emotional stuff that I wish they'd gotten into, and I hope that they get into with the second season. But I wonder if there's an element as well of Crosshair knowing like 4 times now that they've saved somebody, they've gone back for somebody, they've rescued somebody that they had absolutely no emotional stake to, and he, like, Hunter couldn't even get it up to go be like, hey, you good? You need a way out? Nothing. Just like cut and run.
Yeah. I think that was the name of one of the episodes.
That's why I keep saying it.
I think like it, from each of their perspective, I think they would see it 2 different ways. You know, like immediately when they split, they were indebted to Sid, and they had to like do what they could to keep their heads above water. And then when they were confronted with Crosshair, he was like, I don't care, I don't want to go with you. So like it wasn't that simple. I think on their end, they feel like they didn't have an opportunity to go get him. And when they did speak to him, he didn't seem interested. But, you know, then from his perspective, I was on my own for all this time. You knew I was under the control of the inhibitor chip and couldn't take care of myself or whatever. And I think they hopefully are going to have that conversation and see where both are coming from, because it's not, I mean, this is typical storytelling, but if everybody had all the information, it would be much easier for everybody to understand what was happening, you know? Yeah. But we'll see. I think that unfortunately that's been kind of the tale of this whole season, is missed opportunities for me. I'm not hating it. I think it's been a little bit of a slow burn, and they're building to stuff, and I think it's going to pick up next season. But I think there were a lot of places.
I wouldn't be watching it anymore.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm still interested. I still watch it every week, and I think it will be better next season. But I think they have missed some opportunities. There was a lot of stuff they could have really dug into more and breezed over others, but chose not to.
And you're right, Tab. He was getting juiced basically there for a little bit when they found out his chip was still kind of working, and they said, all right, well, let's, put him on the table and amp it up a little bit more. And but I see that's why it's weird for him
Yeah,
to say
there's-
I've removed my inhibitor chip.
Oh, a
This
long
is-
time. Well, it's
Yeah,
such a
long time
vague,
ago, it's
like politician
when did
answer.
you do
Like,
it?
what happened? Like, oh, that they took it out ages
Yeah.
ago. Never,
Yeah.
I've never had one. It was the least effective inhibitor. I don't know. I'm not buying it. There's more to the story.
Yeah, and maybe like the
Or maybe
entire
they told him it
time-
was out. That's right. Like, maybe they programmed his chip to believe he didn't have a chip. What?
he doesn't know he knows he has a chip.
Yeah,
Possible.
Like
it's an
chipception.
unknown unknown.
Right. And maybe that was his thing with, hey, I've got to serve the Empire now. I got to help these guys. This is what I'm supposed to do. Good soldiers follow orders. But after that, he kind of, the same as the rest of the group, kind of realizes, no, what they're doing is wrong. Even prior to getting the chip out a little bit, realizes what he's doing wrong. But to his point, like the encounters that he has with Hunter and the rest of the Bad Batch, it's basically them just exchanging fire, and Crosshair's entrenched with other Imperial guys. Like he can't just like go, oh wait, bang bang, and turn and like start shooting them, or he's kind of like they realize he turns on
But
them.
let's all remember, he did do that today.
Yes,
He murked all those TK troopers
did.
so they could have a
One
talk
shot.
about it. Yeah, well,
Except for that
did
one
you notice
side.
they looked over and they saw his little like reflector things, and they were like, "Are we about to be dead, or are they
Yeah.
about to be dead?"
yeah.
It was them,
Um,
fortunately.
But maybe that was the whole thing, because in any one of those encounters with the Bad Batch and his brothers, not one time did any of them say, Crosshair, we're sorry for leaving you. Oh, we can come back. We can fix this. We can make it right. They just kept trying to say, oh, it's your chip, bro. And they never apologized for leaving him there. And maybe in his
No.
angsty ness, because you got to think these are enhanced clones, but they're
Well,
not
and
very old, right?
From their
So maybe
perspective, he
Go ahead.
left them too, though. You know, when his chip was
True.
inhibiting him and theirs weren't, they were like, "What are you doing? Come with us. We need to leave." And he said no. So they
Right.
split. It's not
Yeah.
like they were like running away and Crosshair was caught behind and they were like, "F you, Crosshair. We're going." Like they said, "This is wrong. We're leaving," and he
Mhm.
said no.
when he also
and,
made a
Like
he also made a comment about something. What did he say? Something about like I had a choice or something like that. So he knew he couldn't
100%.
get out of the chip. He knew he couldn't
Yeah.
get away from it. And the rest of them apparently didn't have a problem with it, but he did. But maybe in his angsty anger, that was all he was hoping for, was somebody to say, I'm sorry. And then he would have been like, all right, cool. Bang, 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 bang. Let's go. And he's out, but nobody ever apologized to him, and he's just stuck and he's pissed. He's like, you guys never came back for me. So I don't know. It's there's a lot of emotion in this episode. A lot. It hit kind of in all the feels, not just with, the fall of the Kaminoan city, but with what happens to the clones, with these brothers, with the brothers as a broader spectrum of things. We know most of them are wiped out now. This was awesome. This was Bad Batch at their best. The original group back together, just murking some droids.
The music in that
there,
part was great too. The
Yes.
theme really kicked in.
Yep. And that's what we like to see in this show. I think the whole premise of this show is seeing basically the A team of clones dispatching some droids. And no, I'm not going to play it right now. I'm not going to.
Well,
play
that's
it.
bullshit, because you just
Yeah.
you just said it and you didn't
queued up
play it. That's
yourself.
it.
And then
I
didn't
know.
even do it.
I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to. But
You know what you are?
what?
A clown.
Clown.
Yeah, it was.
I can't believe we have Ronald McDonald as our go-to clown and not Bozo or Krusty. Even it's unbelievable.
We had a whole conversation about clowns
The
one day.
Bush League operation around here.
We need to change that graphic to end the Clone Wars has.
Agreed. They're great.
It's no longer begun. So, yeah, Kiner nailed it with this. All these episodes are great. The cinematography, the animation in these shows. Kyle, I think you brought it up on the recorded cast. Maybe I don't remember if it was you or not, but it was the shading
light coming
and the
through
light.
the trees.
Yeah, the light coming through the trees in the last
Mhm.
episode when they're in the woods, and even I think Echo was sitting in the navigator seat in the ship, and the trees are swaying outside, and there's light coming through, and you can see the shadow moving on his forehead back and forth, and it's just been absolutely beautifully done this whole whole episode.
You,
It picked
you
up
think
right where
back to what they were able to do in season 1 of Clone Wars, which like I remember the
Mhm.
first time I saw that, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is awesome. And now the animation it's so incredibly I mean, even from season 1 to season 7 of Clone Wars, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's just better and better all the time.
Yeah. The music, the animation, story has gotten much better. I think if you remove a side episode here or there, I think it's a solid season, but there's, I think, 2 or 3
They had
episodes in there
removed
that
if they had removed like Infested and gone from that into this, I think it would have tightened it up a bit.
because they were, where were they both? It was they were on the Ryloth, right? Before the
Yeah,
Infested
right.
episode was
Yeah.
Rescue on Ryloth. So if they went from
Was
that
it?
one,
I don't know.
yes, it was Devil's Deal, Rescue on Ryloth, Infested, and then War Mantle.
Yeah, if
So
they'd
if
gone
they had
right
gone
into
from
Mantle.
Rescue on Ryloth to War Mantle, I think that would have been a nice transition. Decommissioned was one that was okay.
I just always think of how many times where we mentioned like, I really wish they had talked about this, or I wish they had more of a conversation about that, or I wish they had like developed more of a relationship between these two characters. And I just think I don't think the plot lines necessarily were bad. I just think there was a lot of
just didn't
missed
go far enough.
opportunities.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It just could have
Well, it
been
was
a little
like-
more.
I was thinking this morning, like the season could have been a 10 episode season rather than 16. I think that there is enough within this like 6 episodes that you could trim out and like put other necessary stuff, like tap it into the episode previous or the episode after, some of like in-flight stuff, just
Yeah.
to make it a bit tighter so that the storytelling is a bit more, less Cartoon Network, more Disney Plus streaming on Friday mornings.
Yeah. What about you guys in the chat? What were, so far, knowing we've got 1 episode left, what are your maybe favorite episodes or snippets from first season of Bad Batch here? Just put them in the comments and we'll kind of keep rolling here and bring them up as we go. But speaking of the episode individually, is there any moment or part that really stood out to you, whether it was something that you didn't know or something that you saw, or like, hey, Rampart is still just the worst guy ever?
I thought you would love him.
No, Rampart's a giant turd.
I was like, I bet Justin's gonna like.
He's
cosplay as him.
I'll say this: we in Star Wars, I think we tend to like smart villains, right? We like Thrawn,
Or anything.
I mean, even Grand Moff Tarkin
Smart
was pretty
plots.
intelligent. Krennic, you hated the guy just because he was kind of like cranky all the time. But I think we tend to like those cerebral villains in our Star Wars, right? The Emperor, who is 5 steps ahead of everybody else in what he's doing. I think
Well, that's a way
Rampart
more
is-
threatening villain, right? Because
Yes. Yeah,
just
yeah.
a big strong guy that's dumb, you can
Oh, for sure.
outsmart. You know,
Yeah, and that's exactly what Rampart is here. He is that, at least so far in season 1, he's the big bad so far, and he's the smart guy that you love to hate, and he's doing it well. So I can't hate him too
you
much.
don't
for
see a
being
lot of
good
baby
villain.
rancors.
No, Moochie was great, loved that. Rex and Ryloth was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Chopper?
think we might see Rex next week.
I hope so, since they mentioned him today.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's who Omega was supposed to go get if they ran into trouble.
Instead of
She did
pulling all of
not.
those droids, I was like, child.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get Rex, and I'm hoping we get Wolf with him, and maybe that's where
Yeah,
he was.
that would be
In,
cool.
I love
Or maybe
the
we're
one-
saving Wolf for next season.
There was the
Mm-hmm.
throwaway line of Wrecker coming back and being like, I dropped Gregor off with Sid. She wasn't thrilled.
Yeah.
He was
That's
like,
good. Yeah. Gregor's a little crazy, so I could see him in a bar with Bolo and Ketch just hanging out playing
oh
Sabak
she-
or,
They're like strip
They just
sagging.
increased their patrons by like 50%. You should be happy.
Right. Gregor strikes me as a guy who can throw down some drinks in a bar too. Like, yeah, I work hard. I teach soldiers, but I like to go hang out in the bar and get a little crazy on the weekends.
No, he loves
so.
getting freaky at the bar.
Yeah, Gregor is that kind of clone. So, yeah, Chopper.
I think
bringing in
Ed's just
Chopper
trying
was
to
great.
to get Josh to post a particular photo up on the screen. Glass breaking.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, they we shifted from stun to kill mode.
I saw
this,
your picture in your workspace today of the Spice Girls, which I honestly I thought that was just a dumb thing we said. I didn't know that was a real thing, but it's on like legit artwork, or unless you made that shit. I don't know. Heck,
I think
say
they made
shit?
it, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, not that that's not real artwork, but I didn't know if you like bought it at a store.
Don, that's a good point. Where's Boba? What's he thinking about all this? Right, it's going
There's
down.
Spice
He's out
Girl.
there somewhere watching. Who knows
He's
what
around.
he's thinking? Yeah,
He's around.
His brothers are out there and they're dwindling one by one. So, and it'd be interesting to see if he and Omega meet up, right? Like, how's that interaction gonna go? Like, oh, hey sis, what's happening? Like,
I don't think like that. Actually,
You
it's
should be
not.
like identity theft is a
Yeah.
crime.
She goes
Jim.
up with her thumb on a scanner and says Boba Fett. And he's like, wait a minute. Like, that's not me.
Do clones all have the same thumbprint?
I don't
think
That's a
so. I
good
think they
question.
would.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Would they have the same retinal scan? I don't know.
Don't we see some clones though with different colored eyes though, don't we?
I
don't
mean,
know.
does that mean you have a different retina? Necessarily?
I don't
know how those eyeball scanners
I don't-
work. I'm just
I
throwing
don't
out
think these
questions.
clones are like
know.
straight clones, though. I think they're like clones with that they then
Clone-ish.
tinker with some too. So
part clones or clone-ish is
was anyone else surprised to hear Omega talk about how she was there when they were created?
yeah.
I was like, oh, she's old.
So really she's their older
Well, they
sister.
age so much faster too,
know.
right?
Yeah.
So she's
They've got the accelerated.
Yep.
Well, and now we kind of know that she's not accelerated because it
Good.
wasn't
Yeah.
if she was there then and she's still a child, that kind of confirms
how
it.
old do we think Omega is?
Like 13.
Yeah, that seems
I
about
thought a
right.
little younger than that, but yeah. like-
Maybe a little younger.
Yeah, in that wheelhouse, that 10 to 13 age
Yeah,
range, I'd
yeah.
say is probably a safe bet.
She might,
You know,
theoretically, she could be the same age as Boba because they could have taken that at the same time.
I think she probably is exactly the same age as Boba, and the entirety of the Clone Wars was only 4 years, so these clones have to grow up
right.
pretty quickly.
Pretty
Pretty good.
It'd be interesting to see how they do that if they bring Boba in. Is he that much older? Is he, a year or two older? Is he the same age? How are they going to do that? Like if we see him, definitely an interesting twist, considering we're seeing currently old Boba, right?
Oh, he's
in
very hot
Mandalorian.
right now, Boba
Very-
Fett. Yeah.
He's very
He's very
grizzled and a veteran of the galaxy and one giant Sarlacc pit. And he's been around. He's seen some things. Where what Boba are we going to get here? Obviously younger Boba, but where's he been since he kind of, left his little group or whatever they were doing? So, because he clearly did not get along with Aura Singh. So,
Where have you
This
come from?
br-
Where have you come?
This brings up something that I was thinking about earlier today. Like, I love all these characters, and I've thought this a million times with like my personal favorite character, Ahsoka Tano. But the more people we run into, and the more people are alive at this time, like Omega, like the Bad Batch, it's like, what were you doing when we were blowing up Death Stars, guys? Where were you?
They
Just
all said,
curious.
No, thank you.
It's
They said,
like,
no, thank you. I'm not
It's
doing
fine if
this."
you weren't around. If you were kicked back, you feel like you earned a vacation. You're probably right. I get it, but I'd like to know. I'm just curious. Where was everyone? What
Yeah.
was Omega doing when we were blowing up Death Stars?
yeah. I mean, you can't.
And Ahsoka. I mean, good God. Where the hell was she? What was going on out there?
No,
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just curious. We'll find out eventually. Maybe.
It's
probably,
great because
hopefully.
we get these timelines of, oh, here's this movie, and here's when this book happens, and here's when this comic arc happens, and then here's this movie.
Yeah, lots
and
of
then
gaps
here's
in
this
there.
TV show. And like they show all this stuff, right?
That's
But
what
then
they were doing.
they-
They were charging up before they charge in.
Yeah. But then they don't go, okay, so during
We're
this
looking
time,
for Ezra.
this person died, or during this time, this person is over here hiding, or this person is only 10 during this time, so they couldn't possibly be involved in this other thing going on. You don't get it down to like that little minutia of.
Well, I think they do that on purpose.
Really, yeah, it's like something like a little bit more.
Rule number
defined
1:
like
leave some wiggle room.
Yeah, it leads to good storytelling. It does, so it's okay. I don't mind it, but yeah, this. Do we think we're gonna see? And I commented. I think I forget. Ed may be asked on Twitter what we thought we'd like to see in season 2. And I think I said I'd like to see the Emperor come in at some point in season 2, other than just the holographic thing that we saw in the very first episode. That, hey, there is this, rogue batch of clones still out there, and what's his take on it? And see what he thinks. Like, oh, it's fine. It's not part of my larger plan. They're not gonna affect anything. Do you know what I mean?
If this show continues to go on for a couple seasons, I'd love to see what some of those characters we were just talking about were doing during this like beginning of the rebellion. Do we know how long it is between where we are now and the time of Rebels? It's probably like 20 years, right?
No, not quite.
15.
Yeah,
I mean,
15.
Because Kanan's probably
Hera and Kanan are both adults at
Yeah.
that time. Like,
Well, I'm thinking about Leia being a baby at the end of Revenge of the Sith and being a 15-year-old junior senator in that episode of Rebels that she's in.
okay. So something like that.
Yeah,
Who'd you say was looking for Ezra?
Ron?
Ezra.
Ahsoka. Yes, thank you. No one knows what I'm talking about.
That's
That
why
was
I
like
laughed,
the
because I knew
greatest-
what you were doing.
I-
Looking for
Face on.
Ezra.
Looking for Ezra.
I-
Looking for
Face on.
Ezra. Yeah. So probably Ahsoka and Sabine during some of that blow up Death Star's time were looking for Ezra. And that's why Thrawn and Ezra and those guys weren't out there.
That's a it's a good
Look
point.
at that
Like, and I'm
beautiful
hoping
fake doctor.
that Bad Batch does not go by the way of Resistance that only got 2 seasons.
Ooh,
And don't get me wrong, the first half of Resistance was not great, but it was not marketed towards me, and it was not the same kind of storylines that we're used to seeing in Star Wars. At the end of the first season, it did pick up and it did start to get very intense and a little bit more emotional. It was harder. It was more difficult in the second season. There was definitely a lot greater things at stake in the second season than there was in the first season. So, and I'm hoping that Bad Batch does not only get that like 2 seasons and then cut. I'm hoping they get to at least 3, and then we move on maybe, or if we go 5 seasons, great. If we go 4, great. But I'd love to see him at least get 3.
like I was just saying, there's a big chunk of time that we don't really know a whole lot about, that they could fill in a ton of stuff with characters we know and build the world that we know kind of what was happening, but not exactly. And I mean, the show could go on for a long time in theory, right?
In theory, yeah.
Bad Batch needs to be smuggled in somewhere. They find a young Han Solo who's willing to take on early jobs.
And then at the end of season 15, they all die. And then boom, we're at the original trilogy.
There you go. There you go. I mean, but you're right. There's a whole bunch of other characters that you can mix in here that are much, much younger. And for those that tend to worry about other actors playing characters that they know and love, like a Han Solo or a younger Han Solo, which was
It's easier to swallow at a different age.
Aaron Rick. I can't pronounce his last name.
Alden.
Alden.
It's
okay
Alden,
to
yes.
call him Alden.
But like a lot of people
share
are
one
like,
name.
oh, Alden's that's not my Han Solo. He's playing a younger version of Han Solo. I thought he did a great
Agreed.
job.
Yeah,
I
he
would
did
love
a
to
good
have to
job.
be bullied. Bully
I
him
thought he did a
into
great
next
job.
year.
Shut up, nerd. That's what we'd say to him. Shut up, nerd.
His mannerisms were great. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, his performance of Han, I thought was very, very good. So here you could take a younger, like an animated Han Solo, who, you finally get to see a little bit different version of him. I don't know, maybe have Alden voice him and come in and do the voice work. But I think there's a whole bunch of characters that you could bring in that are early on. They're very young and they're spread out across the galaxy. And this is how we loop them into the Rebels and
We could see Sabine Wren in an Imperial Academy.
yep. Yeah. You could get a lot. The
Building
young Wedge.
duchesses.
Well, I mean, we did see Wedge in the Imperial Academy.
Don't talk about it too soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of different places that you could go with this. So I think one of the parts that I enjoyed the most was them trying to land on that platform in the water, and Tech's like, if I fly any lower, I will be in the water. And she's like, you gotta go lower.
This is one of those instances where I'm like, I understand it makes the like show a little more interesting, but what kind of real life conversation would ever happen where she's like, yeah, go to these coordinates, fly down to the landing pad, and we'll sneak right in, and never mention the fact that it was going to rise up from underwater and you had to hover just above the ocean, like
They had plenty of time between Ord Mantell and
while they were in hyperspace for hours or days or however long it took to get there. She could have just been like, oh, this really cool thing's going to happen. It's a hidden platform under the water and you got to get real.
No, this is what happened. She explained all of that, right? She explained all of that. Tech was just like, I don't
You're a
listen to
child.
children.
I can't
Just
listen to
don't
you.
have anything
She's
about
probably
that.
exaggerating. It's well above the surface of the water.
She's
She's
only
like
10. I can't
misremembering.
listen to her. Like, yeah. But yeah,
the
she's
worst.
like, go lower. And he's like looking down, like, I don't know about this. Like,
It's
maybe
like
you tell
Super
them there's
Troopers.
a problem down
I'm
there.
pulled over. I can't pull over anymore.
Exactly. But then they get out and there's this moment and he's like, oh, that's great, but how are we going to get across this vast ocean over to the city from this platform? And she's like, oh, we're going to take the tube. And they're like, what? And there's this tube, and all of a sudden she goes over and this thing comes up out of the ground with like a pod, and then you get Wrecker.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
oh
but-
yeah, and oh no.
Yeah, so now I've got
No, it's nice because he said nice like somebody just said like, oh, your change will be 69 cents, sir, and he was
Nice.
just, nice.
Nice.
Okay,
Nice.
Josh, that sounded like a Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtle.
So
I do
yeah,
like
it was funny because I think it was Rebel Art that posted, oh, I'm gonna enjoy, with my new Outer Rim Beacon coffee mug, and I really wanted to just be like,
Nice.
We have to keep those sound clips like for the rest of forever.
yeah, I love it. Yeah,
They were.
This-
I mean, again, they just are not intelligent. Even the guy who's known for being smart. Like, did you think they just built a platform in the middle of the ocean with? You just land there and then you're just there on the platform. It goes nowhere. There's no way to get to the city.
I really imagine that.
Of course,
Echo
there's a
just
shuttle.
Dance around like, how did I?
These
Elite
freaking
squad.
guys.
He's like, this is supposed to be like an elite squad, and like the youth recruits, the cadets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he still wears his ARC Trooper chaps to be like, I know what's going on. These guys are. I
not with them.
yeah,
I'm
I was a
not
free
actually with
agent.
them.
Yeah,
He's got like secondhand embarrassment when they're out. Like he's like, no.
I got picked up off waivers. This is not like. Yeah.
It's a lot of
It's JK
sports
Bessie.
references
I
for
don't
you,
know who
Kyle.
I know. Sorry, I don't. I
Like,
played
who is
fantasy
this guy?
football
Are you
once.
feeling okay?
Speaking of my dear sweet boy Echo, I want to talk about how in one moment he was more brotherly or whatever Lee we are equating to them. This one moment he was more than Hunter was because he got down on her level to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knelt down to make sure she was okay. He notices
Like,
that she
"You
was
okay?"
like upset, and he kneels down and asks her if she's okay. Which I'm like leagues above the rest of this. Clearly, he interacted with like the young clones.
Yeah.
because he knows how to interact with kids. Like he was good with her in this scene too. Like
Yeah,
they were
that's what I was
there.
gonna say.
He was
He had like a good teachable moment, and they never really do that, any of them, where he was like, here, you got to be patient, and this is why we can't like, and he actually like explained it to her. I mean, it's embarrassing because she threw a hissy and then he turned a wrench 2 times and they were ready to go, so she could have just like waited 4 seconds, but he did find like a good like teachable, this is why you gotta like understand what's going on here,
And
and
like
think it
even
through.
in this moment, like she looks to him when they're going to the next stage. Of the
Wouldn't
mission,
you?
Like, Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time looking at Echo, but
It was
but
yeah,
it's great.
she's-
Like I love seeing these moments because
Yeah.
these are the moments
That's
I've
good.
been dying for.
I think a lot of these, like the quote unquote the regs, right, were probably more involved with civilian things and operations that involved civilians and things on the ground, because we saw Waxer and Boyle with Numa, early on in Clone Wars. You've
The
got
Padawans.
the
Yeah.
Padawan. Like you get a lot more. I think they had a lot more interaction with the kids, whereas Bad Batch, I think their
Drop
sole
in,
purpose
get it
is
done,
not.
get out.
Yes, exactly. They don't deal with kids. Like that's not their.
They
MO.
barely deal with even other clones, really. I mean,
Yeah, they're like, no, our mission is like get in. Here, we got to get in. We got to assassinate President blah blah blah, or we got to go over here and extract this prisoner over here, and
just assassinating presidents.
that's their job.
Jeez.
Like that's their thing. Is like, oh, Wat Tambor's at it again. We got to go get him, and then that's what they're doing. Like they're
I didn't
not.
know triggering World War II was part of their job.
I don't know. They run a lot of missions. Who
Echo
knows
could
what they
play
do?
Tech. Tech could never play Echo.
I just
for
want to
sure.
let you know that, like,
Ooh.
I fully just snorted water out of my nose and my left
It doesn't
eyeball.
feel good.
How does that even work? Going out of the nose and into the eye? That's
Both
like
at the same time. Your tear ducts are connected to your sinuses.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so like when you snort that, you can get it out of your nose and your eyes because they're all attached. But
If somebody tuned in at
Eye bone.
exactly the right moment, this was not what they thought it was.
The eye bone connected to the nose bone, Justin.
oh my god, that actually hurt.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness! What'd you guys think about seeing AZ?
Love
I'm
AZ.
so glad.
He's a fun droid.
I thought he was like dead, and he's just been hanging out in the basement.
He's
of
been.
Kamino.
What if he's been behind that one like file cabinet for a month? I've been hiding. It's very scary
Great
here.
picture right here. He's just
Yeah.
like, yeah. It was good to see it. I'm glad he's still hanging around. He didn't get destroyed because he got shot. But I think
Also, why your nose run when you cry?
Yeah.
Tears come out your nose. Yeah.
But yeah, it was good to see him. I was glad he was there, and
I thought he was going to take Crosshair's inhibitor chip out, but it's already been because he did take Fives out. Remember back in the Dizzy.
Yeah.
Or was that Tup Fives? He took somebody's out in a Clone Wars episode.
How do we know he didn't take Crosshairs out?
We don't, but I don't personally believe that Crosshairs has been taken out. I think it's still
I
in
think
there.
if anything, it was fried when his head got fried.
I would believe that. I would
He
believe
got
that.
French fried.
But I think it's still in there. But those babies are deep. He would. I mean, did he get fried? That I mean, maybe he got backed
I mean,
after. I don't
They
know.
had a
but
whole bunch of he had some big lumpy.
he did have
things on
gross
the
stuff
back.
on there. He did have some lumpies. Yes.
Also, he touched his head, which I thought was interesting. That they had a point of him touching his head, and I was like, "That's suspicious."
I mean, he knows
That's
where
weird.
it's at, and
I would. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not taking your word for anything personally.
I mean, they've got he's down for the count right now. He's stunned. I mean, they might be
Perfect time
dead.
to scan his brain. Yeah.
I mean, they might be in an early watery grave because that sunk.
Did you say he was stunned?
I think Omega's going to find her another secret Camino resident. I grew up here passageway to sneak out
Well,
or something.
yeah. What if they go back to that one planet?
What if they just all die and then season 2 is about something entirely different?
What if they go back
How
to
dare
the
you.
one planet where the clones were, the Bounty Lost episode, with Fennec and Cad, right? Because it's a cloning
Oh, the
facility. They clearly-
decommissioned cloning
yeah,
facility.
they might have had like hospital stuff there that they could remove the chip with. So maybe they go back there.
There's some other things to cross off the list before they worry about that, because they're currently in a structure that was built above an ocean that's
It's now
now
under the
sinking down into the ocean.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, it's I don't know, but maybe they go back there, they get his chip out.
I'm saying
Yeah,
Bad
it's a
Batch
deal
is
with
just a backdoor for a Captain Rex vehicle. I like it.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. It's coming to an end. We got one more episode.
Should be like, this is worse than ever.
Eva.
All my big
Worst
brothers
episode
drowned.
ever. Yeah.
It's gonna be like Titanic.
They
They're
put
gonna
her
be,
on
like,
a
floating on a
floating piece
door.
of
Never let go, Tech.
debris.
Never let go.
Theoretically, though, like we obviously don't know like how much of Echo is not like he doesn't seem to be very human anymore. Like he seems to be the kind of thing like if you've seen the sketch pictures of him, he looks like a cryptid. He's got like the bolts down his back, and he's everything from the waist down is robot. He's pale because he's got no blood flow. Like theoretically, out of all of the clones, Echo's the only one who would probably survive because his lungs are probably machines.
Mhm. At the same time,
More machine than man.
he's also the most human of the Bad Batch.
Which is a nice little statement, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
Right? Thank you. Thank
You
you.
think he'd get along with Lobot?
Lobot's struggling in
I'm
the
asking the
comic
important
books
question.
right now.
Who? Tech or Echo and Lobot get along?
Yeah,
They've got certain things in common.
the Droid Boys.
Yeah.
Name of
I
their
am not
mixtape.
putting that on the screen.
The Droid Boys.
Which thing? Tiernan's comment?
Yeah.
Oh.
This one?
What? What?
Hey, I'm just saying,
You're like,
Darth Maul, Echo, call me.
Jeez.
Tab, if the next episode is them just finishing another Sid mission, like,
They just picks
they
up
show
no
up on Ord
explanation.
Mantell, no explanation, just like, well, that was
Oh man,
close.
glad we got out of that one. Yeah.
Oh,
where's the
Wrecker's
Mantell
like,
mix?
oh, nice. Like, we got out of that one. And they're just walk. You want some Mantell mix, kid? Yeah, okay. Like, they just walk off. Sid's got another mission. That'd be the worst ending of
The only thing
any.
that's different that is now Crosshair is eating the mix too.
Yeah.
on Wrecker's other shoulder.
Yeah.
And Omega's on that.
And then the episode ends with like one of those like late 70s car commercials where they jump up in the air and they all freeze like this in their position.
Yeah. Freeze frame at the end. The Titanic from the movie or the Titanic the movie was based on? I mean, either one would be a collector's item, I assume.
He had a submarine and went down there and took a big old chunk of the ship up.
We
and
all
brought it home.
live in a yellow submarine.
Right.
Yep. The Beatles did sing that song. Yeah.
That was great.
Maggie.
That was
Since
fantastic.
we're diverging a little bit, I wanna address something that happened a long time ago.
In a
Okay.
galaxy far, far
I was
away.
born.
This comment.
I put that up there on the screen.
I know, but then we didn't have a good time for me to go back to it. I just want to say that Yeezys are one of the ugliest shoes I've ever seen. They're ridiculously expensive, and I will do nothing to put more money in Kanye West's pocket.
Mm.
And
Oh, he's the worst. He's the worst. And I'll bet that guy wearing those Yeezys at the gym
Probably not great.
he might not be the best. Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
Sorry, I hope
Anyway.
that guy's not watching next to her at the gym on his iPhone. I like
right.
Yeezys. If you
No,
are.
if he is, screw you. Yeezy suck. Kanye sucks.
Weirdo, yeah.
It's like, why are you guys talking about me? What the heck's going on here?
So as a palate cleanser, I just want to share this with everyone.
Beautiful.
That queen.
Ooh. That's a cool picture. I like that.
I love that.
That's Rihanna as a Jedi.
That- oh.
That's,
Oh,
actually,
now I get it.
No.
that's
I hate that
Rihanna.
you said
I
that.
think.
Oh, yeah. Is it Rihanna Skywalker? Hmm.
Guy's got jokes.
I also want to show you guys this picture of Rihanna wearing a Star Wars skirt.
That's cool. Kind of looks like a
Prequels, too.
Yeah.
like one of
That
those
looks-
fleece blankets like wrapped around her waist.
It's a sarong.
Not judging.
Yeah. It just looks comfortable. Can't beat that. Yeah. Comfortable clothes are
Such
the
a
way to
dad
go.
sometimes.
Comfortable clothes are the way to
It
go.
really is.
Yeah. So did you guys? I felt when they stunned Crosshair and he's laying there, and Hunter like
Always with the stunner, these guys.
he bends down and he takes his backpack off and he takes his gun. I was like, oh, that's harsh right there.
I thought he was gonna
I
leave
thought he
him.
was
I was
robbing
like-
him.
No,
No, you
wasting good
didn't.
equipment.
Come on.
I completely
did.
thought that for a second. I
thought
was
he was-
like,
I thought he was just like murking his stuff. Like, oh, this guy's out. We
He
need his
stunned
stuff.
him
Like,
to leave him for dead. Give me a break, guys.
I thought that's what
Read
he did.
between the lines. He was
Look,
taking his
Hunter-
gear and then telling Record of.
Look,
Jeez.
Hunter has made some dubious decisions the last couple of episodes. I think that is a likely possibility because it's
I
Hunter.
stunned him so I could steal his backpack. Give me a break, you guys.
took his rifle, took his backpack. I was like, oh, that's harsh. That's like Crosshair's stuff, man. That's what makes him Crosshair. Like, how are
I
you
thought
gonna
he
take
was
his
gonna be
stuff
like-
and just pirate him? Oh, yeah, it was
Be
funny.
like, no more crosshair for you.
He's like, what are you gonna do now? I got your stuff. Come on, Crosshair.
Come on,
Yeah,
though.
but it's not a
That's
video
actually
game.
a
You
brotherly-
don't just loot the NPCs
Okay,
when they're dead.
Doesn't
Okay,
that
It's
sound like a brotherly thing to do, though? I don't have brothers, but I would totally knock them out and steal their stuff.
only if you wanted them to do it back.
right. Yeah,
You'd have
it's
to catch me for that.
that droid
That's you,
scene in the
Tab.
training room really
Tabs back.
just kind of
lady.
brought it back full circle too. I think, because I mean that's where we see most of these clones get their start. Right, Domino Squad was in there. We saw countless clones in this training room. We saw Bad
I like
Batch
the
beginning
Citadel
of the
anytime.
season in the
Yoink.
training room. It really brought it full circle. Again, seeing how much better clones were than these TKs that they were trying to bring in. And then it's just destroyed in the end. And you get those beautiful empty shots, the empty cafeteria, the empty hallway, the empty locker room, the empty training room. And it's
They
just,
did all that really well.
yeah, it was
They
just,
did.
okay, season 1 of Clone Wars, back end of Clone Wars. This is where we're at. It's done. And it was just a beautiful bow tie to Camino and that story arc of the clones. So we'll see how it plays out in the last episode next Friday, and we'll see what happens. I'm excited. Any bold predictions for the last episode from anybody?
I haven't decided if I'm going to watch it or not.
You don't feel like you need to invest any more time and energy?
I'll get to it eventually. Whatever.
Yeah, I've watched 15 out of the 16. That's pretty good.
I get the main
That's
idea.
close enough.
Fair amount. Yeah, that's a good amount. Josh, you have any crazy?
Just like I said earlier, I think like the next steps, them meeting up with Rex or Rex and Co.
Mhm.
I don't know where else it would go. I think the thing that'll be a surprise or will be crazy is who is with Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to be trapped down either in those tubes or on the Havoc Marauder or whatever, and we're going to come to terms with Crosshair. They're going to have some kind of, conversation and see each other's side, and I think we're going to maybe get to the bottom of his inhibitor chip, and then, like Josh was saying, we'll get back to I'm guessing Sid's parlor, excuse me, because
I'll allow it this time.
yeah, thank you. My apologies to Sid et al. Because that's where Gregor is, and Rex is already aware of it. We've seen him there. Obviously, he knows that's where the Bad Batch hang out. I think we all kind of expect to see Rex again. So that's my prediction, broad strokes, what we're going to see. Obviously, there's got to be something else in there, but
Yeah. Maggie, what about you? Any bold
I think
predictions?
we'll see Rex. That might just be wishful thinking. I think referencing him could have been a tell, but honestly, who knows?
Yeah. I think he's got to come back in just to bring it full circle again, just to
Maybe they get
tie
rescued
everything together.
instead of getting themselves out. Maybe they get rescued
that
by
could
someone.
be. They might be stuck
Oh.
somewhere and they have to call for help.
Maybe they
Let 'em
placed the call before they left to go on the mission. Like, hey, we've got to go back to Camino if something goes wrong. And
Or Omega sent out a signal
Right.
before she went up to turn on all the whatever you
That
call it,
was
droids.
such a decision on her part.
It was a decision, wasn't it?
do you guys, if you go into, let's say, this next episode and they have to go do something else, they do another mission, even if they talk to Crosshair and they hash things out, do you trust him enough to have him on the mission with you?
No, because I don't think that's been resolved.
Nope.
Not yet.
Same.
Leave him tied up in the ship until.
I disagree. I think they're going to find a way to bring him back into the fold. I think at the beginning of this episode, when that other elite trooper, is that what they're called, in the all black, was telling Rampart, I don't trust him. I don't trust his motives with these other clones. And then he did take out those TK troopers. I think that was leading us to him defecting.
I don't know if you know this. I have a scoop.
Oh, here we go.
No.
You know how at Lucasfilm they kind of like put these characters in who are like in some way based on like a person. Like there's the people that are the person that was like supposed to be Pablo Hidalgo, and then there were like some other ones like that. That snitchy stormtrooper is actually Justin.
Would be.
Thanks.
I can see
she
that.
wasn't
I see
wrong.
that.
See?
Right? I mean, she wasn't
See?
wrong.
See? You're proving his point.
Yeah.
Is Bart Simpson in the chat?
You're not going to lay a finger on my butterfinger.
Yeah, it was. She wasn't wrong with the assumption, and got the
I
rest.
agree. We got to check for that
so.
chip. I don't buy it. I'm not taking his word for it. I don't think he's reliable.
And he didn't have a scar. It's more towards the front, right? The
No, I
chip?
think it's back. It's like
is
on
it
the
back?
side.
Right.
I'm basing that on where
That's where Rex's was.
Rex's scar was in Rebels. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know
And
if it was more
we've
towards
seen
the
a
front.
couple people get scanned, but yeah, it's closer to the back of the head on the side.
Yeah. I don't know. I would guess when he got scorched, maybe that's when he just said, "Look,
You're
if
inside your skull, though. Like, I mean, did it?
Yeah.
How bad did he get scorched, and how did he survive? If it scorched the chip, it would have scorched his whole brain.
Yeah.
KB Legend, amateur neurologist.
I dabble in all the hard sciences. What can I say?
Not dark science, just
Actually,
hard
it's like
science.
No,
the
no, no,
Bowser
no.
intro for Kyle's show.
Is that how it goes?
I think so. Something like that. Walking down the halls in his little doctor garb, and like everybody's taller than he
Are you
is.
a Doogie Howser now?
I am talking some old school Neil Patrick Harris.
He is pretty cool.
Maggie killed Darth Kaitis Kamose.
I did.
Spoiler alert, I haven't finished that book yet.
Oh.
Well,
It just
right,
came
you're
out
right.
guys,
25 years ago.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, I'm excited for the last episode though, and we'll wrap up this Bad Batch, and then we're not gonna have. We're figuring out what to do with our live streams. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna do here, but we won't be on every
we're
week.
gonna have the shorts, the ones from the Japanese.
The
art.
shorts that Crosshair's going to eat.
Visions.
Visions. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I
Oh.
cannot remember. Yeah, Visions.
Yes, we will have those pretty soon. I haven't gone out and checked out. You guys, anybody watch the Behind the Attraction yet on Disney
No.
Plus? They go back and they talk about the
Cost
rides.
prohibitive. I figured I wouldn't be able to afford watching the behind the scenes video because the stay was so expensive. I assumed that it was all going to be cost prohibitive.
So that's a good point, Kyle. Speaking of cost prohibitive, who's going to be there day one of the Galactic Star Cruiser opening?
Press and millionaires. I mean, good lord, it's absurd.
It is not cheap. It's what, like $4,000, $4,500.
It's outlandish. Yeah, like, I mean, I knew it was going to be expensive, but $800 per night per person. It's insane. It's crazy.
Now, I would say this
How do you
because
expect to book that place.
we've talked about that with like the Galaxy's Edge sabers, right? When you go and you do the build your own saber thing, you pick whatever your faction or whatever the four things is, you get your token, you go in, you make your saber, you put your parts together. Right now $230, I think, to build your own saber in Batu, and you're really paying for the experience that you get. And everybody comes out of it and says, "Oh, it's such a great experience. It's a moving experience, and you really feel like you're there, and it's a spiritual thing, from a Jedi or Sith perspective when you're making your saber. You're paying for the experience." This is kind of that same thing. on a much, much grander scale. And knowing, and if you've ever stayed on Disney property and you've paid for food, like a dinner is not cheap, especially if you do like a character dinner, which is, 30, anywhere from $38 to $45 for a character dinner. When you go to this restaurant, you are immersed, according to the pictures and the details, immersed with Star Wars characters while you're eating. So you're
There's
essentially
a big
paying.
leap between a $50 dinner and a $900 hotel experience,
If
in my
I'm spending
opinion.
like $900 a night, I'm expecting Kylo Ren to bridal carry me to my room every night. I do not want my feet to touch the ground. I want to be carried. I want to be serenaded. I want to be fed olives by a Twi'lek. Like, I don't.
Well, you're looking at, if there's 2 people per room, it's more expensive. If there's 4, I believe it was what, $750 a
But
night.
here's the thing.
But that's
3
only an
adults
option
and
if
a
you're bringing
child.
kids.
It's
There's not even a
only-
4 adults
No.
There's
option.
no
There's
just
not.
4 adults, and there's no just 3 adults. Everything
Right.
factions in a child, which I think is ridiculous considering there's no reason to take children to this. It sounds like people are going to get drunk and freaky for that much money. I'm just saying.
Well,
Like,
your drinks are extra. Those
You'd
are not
almost.
included.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
that's the thing. You have to
Knowing how
add.
much you have to pay for drinks, you might be more apt to say,
Like,
but they also
friend,
like
I'll bring in
everybody-
whatever drinks I want with me for that price.
They're like, bring your own clothes, dress up and stuff. People are going to be doing weird things in those hotel rooms. I'm just saying.
For sure.
Now.
I don't. But it's
Like-
also Disney property. There's going to be some.
Yeah,
some
but
rules.
people are.
What
gonna have-
happens out in the open?
Yeah, out in the open, things will be fine. In the rooms, like you might be able to find videos on special sites.
I just think
Maggie's on the dark web.
like I get that $240 is expensive, but you get to keep that lightsaber. That if you bought a lightsaber like that, you're going to spend at least $150 on it anyway. Like, so upcharge $100 for the experience. That makes sense to me because you get to take the saber home with you and have it forever. Man, I don't know how they're going to book this place for any like extended period of
Well,
time
so
at
this
that
is my
price.
theory because like my parents wanted
You
to go
have
on it
to
until
stay
we
for
saw
2
the
nights.
price.
Mhm.
I think that give it 2 years, 2 to 5 years, and it's going to be book as long as you want to stay. Like it's not going to be as regimented, I think.
That could be.
And I think the prices are going to drop because I think they're going to see that like that first wave of like die hard, I'll throw money at anything Star Wars fans will go in that first like 3-month to 6-month period.
Mhm.
But also like it's going to be right after COVID. So people going to want to do stuff because it's opening. Well, theoretically, if there's not more variants. So people are going to want to go. There's a lot of people that have money that they throw at things, especially Disney. And then there's just going to be a lag, I think, because people aren't going to want to spend that kind of money for such a
But
short trip.
Are you
I mean,
not
it's-
going to go to the parks while you're there too? Because I mean, you add a $300 park hopper pass on there. You add a flight ticket from wherever you are on top of that.
driving.
Like, that's an expensive. I mean, you could go to
Well, I'm
Europe.
just saying,
You're doing the
Or,
other
I
thing.
mean, like,
you could go on a tour of the actual filming locations in England of like all the Star Wars places, like Octu and where they've been filming Cassian. Like you could go to San Francisco and go take a picture with the Yoda. You could go to Skywalker Vineyards. Like
and I thought the time constraint was because it's like a story, like
Yeah.
there's
so,
a
like you
thing.
board the
but,
cruiser,
like,
and then there's
yeah.
a full itinerary. You have a full thing. Like you're
Mhm.
greeted by the.
So it would be
captain,
hard
you
to
have
make it
drinks.
just like stay as long as you want.
It wouldn't be because they could the same way that they've had to change all of the rides because of COVID restrictions. They've cut out a lot of the story stuff. So then I can envision it in like 2 to 5 years. It's going to be more of a like you can stay as long as you want. There's like entertainment at night at the bar. There's some optional stuff during the day, and then you can like take the shuttle to Batu and like direct transport from the hotel. There's a lot of ways that they can. Because Disney's always thinking, how can we take this thing and how can we cut it down? How can we change it up and
Evolve it. Yeah.
And there's so many clear opportunities when you look at the itinerary, especially since some of the stuff seems to be geared towards kids, and you know that adults aren't going to do some of that stuff.
Mhm.
There's like a lot of opportunity to move things around and make it more guest friendly when they're plans don't go. Because I mean, look at what they've done with like Tower of Terror. You don't go through, you don't stop and watch the Twilight Zone anymore. You go straight through, but there's still things that immerse you without the things that made the ride special. I mean, Haunted Mansion no longer has some of the stuff. Like the stretching room and stuff doesn't happen.
Yep.
It's already stretched when you walk through.
Yeah. I think it'll change. They'll add more things to do. I think it'll still be very, are you staying 2 nights, 3 nights, etc.
I could see it shifting to 5 nights, honestly.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand though, is once you're in, you don't leave. You're there. Like there's no windows, there's no nothing.
They can change that. Like that's the
Yeah, no, I get it. And they could, but I think that's their whole premise is this is it's entirely supposed to be like Batu is immersive in a sense that when you walk into it, you don't feel like you're still in a Disney theme park. It feels like you're on another planet going through Star Wars stuff. I think their goal here is to completely make it immersive. There is nothing outside. That's why there's no windows on the hotel. It's just TV screens and LCD screens.
At some point, they're gonna. At some point, they're either going to have to change it or they're going to have to lower the price point because it's absurd. There's
they've
just
got
no
one
way.
or two options of that.
There's
and
very,
the
very, very
it's
few
not
people
really
that
a
are.
cruise. They can easily make it like, yeah, there's no windows, but you can still stay here for 5 nights. You can go up to the bar and be entertained.
Yeah.
They don't have to keep the story. The story can shift. The story can change. The story can be day dependent so that, you know, if you're here 3 days, you get more or less the story. If you're here 5 days, you get the same story. Like, just like if you go back to the parks multiple times, things don't really change or evolve that much. It's the same thing, but two's the same if you go every day. So it's not like it's not like going to Colonial Williamsburg, like because like I used to, I live not far from there. I used to go there every summer and like they had things where their entire summer was planned out during Rev days, which were the Revolutionary War. And literally every day was set to the present day in the 1700s. And so they had completely different scheduling the entirety of the summer. And it was dependent on the day and what was happening. So like they don't do that in Batu.
Yeah.
It's the same day every day. Rey is still running from Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren, you know, is technically dead.
And you get Vi running around there and some stormtroopers and
they can incorporate all of that into, I mean, Vi can show up and
the hotel,
like everybody, we're going to Batu. Like if you have tickets for today.
You do get your Hollywood Studios pass for 1 day, which is, I mean, it's what, 100 and some odd bucks to go into Hollywood Studios. So you do get that included in that price. Your food is included in that price. If they let you keep that lightsaber that they showed in that trailer video, that's pretty sweet too. I don't think that's going to happen though. I think that stays there.
I've been quiet during.
I won't even let you touch
looking
it.
at it and getting sad.
What?
I said I've been quiet during all of this because I'm just looking at the site
prices.
and being sad about it.
It'll change. It's new. It is expensive. Maggie's right. It'll change over time. How that changes, we don't know. Obviously, tour industry travel has been immensely hurt in the last 2 years by COVID and the things that are going on with that. So they've got to find a way to bring people back in and get people moving again. So
charging $900 to $1,200 a night for a hotel is not the way to get them in my opinion.
No, but I think Disney is like, hey, this was our plan all along. We're going to continue to go with it. We're going to stick with it, and then we'll reevaluate once we get into it because they can't.
I don't know who consulted them on that.
Yeah. Speaking of immersive things, if you're talking about Hollywood Tower of Terror, do not watch the 1997 Hollywood Tower of Terror movie. Absolutely horrible. If you have never seen that, Steve Guttenberg and a young Kirsten Dunst take part in that movie. It is not good.
Sacrilege! I am leaving this podcast now. That is it. Good night. That is one of my all-time favorite movies.
The movie is terrible.
I love it. I love it. Also, I love The Haunted Mansion, the one with Eddie Murphy, the one from like 2001. Love that movie. One of my favorites. I have stickers somewhere in one of these drawers.
They're redoing that one, aren't they? I think
they're
making
redoing
another
both
one
Tower
of
of Terror. Well, lawsuit notwithstanding, they're redoing Tower of Terror, and I don't know if they're doing Haunted Mansion. I haven't heard that one, but those are my two favorite rides.
I'd heard the Haunted Mansion, but not the Tower
I'd be
of Terror.
surprised if they were changing the Haunted Mansion.
Tower of Terror, Scarlett Johansson's supposed to be, and that was announced like a month ago.
Okay. Yeah, it was. Watched it the other night. Interesting, very interesting. Is probably why we haven't seen much from Steve Guttenberg since '97. So, not good. But
yeah, that I can afford.
yeah, you want to go to the park. You want to see it. That's honestly what most of it was. It looked like a lot of outdoor shots and indoor shots from the attraction itself. And
I was talking about Celebration. I can afford to go to Celebration.
Gotcha. Sorry, I
cannot
didn't see the
afford
comment.
to go to the.
Yeah.
I mean,
Celebration.
Here, I've got the prices right here. Two guests, $1,209 per person per night for a total of $4,809. 4 guests, one of whom has to be a child, and that means you're going to be in cramped sleeping arrangements because I looked at those rooms. $749 per night for a total per person per night for a total of $5,999. $6,000.
So it is more expensive when you have more people.
Well, I mean
not
total,
less expensive for the room because you're cramming 4 people into it.
It's less per person, but
yeah. Shoo. What now? What's it say is included?
Ridiculous.
Do you have what's included? I know the park admission. I know the meals. Is there anything else included besides those?
Includes a 2-night stay in a cabin or suite, ongoing immersive and interactive entertainment where choices determine your experience, food and beverages on the Star Cruiser, excluding alcoholic and specialty beverages. So that means you can't get anything good. And a quick service meal at Docking Bay 7 food and cargo or other select locations at Disney Hollywood Studios. Admission to Disney Hollywood Studios for your planetary excursion to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So I guess that's part of the experience as you take a trip to Galaxy's Edge. Valet parking, huge bonus, and exclusive Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Magic Band, which is your room key that they do at Disney. And it does other stuff too, but
which they do sell exclusive Magic Bands for other things, Pixar, etc., that are anywhere from $50 up. Which I don't know why they do that, but I think the chip in it only lasts like 2 years.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Well, you can replace the band maybe, and I don't know, whatever. But
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I'm not sold on the price tag here. That I mean, for 2 nights, $4,800 to $6,000 for a 2-night stay in a hotel. I mean, that's
not
crazy.
including airfare or however you're getting there.
You still got to get there.
Automobiles, meals.
If you want your trip to be longer than 2 nights, then you're gonna have to get a hotel somewhere else, and you're gonna have to get tickets to the park or whatever else it is you want to do. I don't know, man. That's crazy to me. Like absolutely crazy.
Got to have that cash.
Whatever his name was that built Jurassic Park would not have approved. It's not only supposed to be for the super rich. Everybody should be able to enjoy this.
Does Bill Gates like Star Wars?
He'll go test it out just because he can, probably.
Yeah. How crazy would that be though if you're there like the opening weekend and you're like walking around and you see a bunch of just celebrities in Star Wars garb just walking around like, oh look, there's Steph Curry. Oh look, there's w's going on. Like you just see celebrities just walking around doing Star Wars things on that opening weekend.
See them.
That'd be pretty cool. I could get behind that.
That contract Steph Curry just signed, he'll definitely be there.
Yeah, he got paid.
Second one.
Yeah, he got paid. Kevin Durant, I think, is getting a big one too. So we shifted to NBA basketball. Welcome to NBA on ORB. Like this is the channel now. So
I don't care about sports enough for that. I'm going to keep being mad about one of the richest corporations in the country charging astronomical amounts for a fan experience.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Steve was the man in short circuit. What? Oh no, I can't do that one for a while. I can't.
It's gonna be that opening weekend. He's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this," and be like, "Oh yeah, we saw you in the promotional pictures, Justin."
Yeah.
I'd be impressed if he could pass that one by the wife.
I did send her the information. I said
and she laughed in your face.
I said I would love to do this. Not right away though. Somewhere down the road when Lucci is a little bit older, yes, but not right now. So
and when when you said that, did she do this to you?
It blew up my car.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like you're not going anywhere for a while. No
blow it up,
Disney for you.
You'd have to
Yeah.
sell it if you're gonna go to the damn Star Cruiser.
Yeah, I'd have to sell a kidney to go to that thing because it is.
I offered mine up on
cheap,
Twitter.
so-
I didn't get any takers. I have O positive blood type. It should be.
Kyle,
pretty
you need a GoFundMe. You need to go
Kyle,
start a
you
GoFundme
should-
for your trip to.
Kyle, you
To,
should really not like advertise that.
What, my blood type? What's somebody gonna steal my blood? Be hard to do.
Watch
Have
out for
you never
vampires.
seen the genetic opera? Repo, the genetic opera, the one? No,
Mm-mm.
no.
No,
Yeah,
oddly
you don't
enough, I have not.
advertise if you have highly desirable organs and blood type. You don't do that.
I
Until
give
you
my
get
blood
dead.
away all the time. I do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
if you want
that's how
some,
you
just
end
go to the
up
place.
dead.
They've got it. They've got it.
Want
And
some-
now we're
I live-
listening to
I live on the
episode
edge,
of My Favorite
Margaret.
Murder.
Fine.
Oh my goodness!
Steven
Yeah,
will
it's
have to talk about your untimely death by the repo man.
you.
If I were to die by having my organs harvested by someone who's going to sell them on the black market, I'll take it. Frankly, 'Cause what do I want to live to be 90 and die in my sleep of a heart attack or something?
Oh my god.
Yeah, Ed. I don't watch a lot of basketball. I watch a little bit, but not much.
There's a Star Wars podcast. I was just on it a couple weeks ago. I'm totally blanking on the name. That they're Star Wars and basketball. It's Trey.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my
I
god.
mean, you
I'm
got to
blanking on
figure
the name
Chewie's
of
going to be anybody's center pick. Like the giant 7-foot guy in the middle is always going to be Chewie. I don't know.
Seems like a great pick until I put a Wampa at center and then
Oh,
boom.
right, Wampa or I would say one of the Kaminoans, but they need to beef up a little bit first.
It's skywalking through
Scrawny.
the league. It's skywalking through the league. It's train build. It's the best of Star Wars and basketball as one
Interesting.
podcast.
Huh,
They're
hmm.
awesome.
I'll have to check that out.
Trey, the lead singer of Fish?
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
Trey,
I
the
assume
bassist
not.
from, or the drummer from Green Day.
I take you people anywhere, and you think you can go to a Star Wars hotel?
No, I don't because I can't afford it.
You
Do you
gotta
need a
buy her.
kidney? I've
You
got a
gotta buy her.
kidney. I've got 2 kidneys. I only need 1.
Kyle, you've got a buyer here, so
I don't even use the second one.
right.
Okay, I feel like Rebel Art Empire might actually take you up on this. They'll put it in like a cool jar.
I was gonna say it's gonna end up in a jar on a
Yeah.
shelf somewhere.
They collect stuff like that. Do you just want to keep it? I don't care.
God.
Oh my
This
goodness.
podcast
Yeah,
went places.
we have ventured in the realm of selling kidneys to go to Star Wars things. So
First,
that-
yeah,
obviously-
he's a person, and his name is Duke. A king.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You want to go live with them? He's thinking about it.
There you go.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Wow, that
get back to
response
you.
was very enthusiastic by Duke. He was like, "Meh, I'm good."
Duke's like,
wanna
is
stay
this
here,
nerd
lay
still
there and
talking
don't
about
move.
Star Wars?
What'd you say, Josh?
Duke's like, is this nerd still talking about Star Wars?
Right. I have to go pee now.
No,
Oh,
if I said that, he probably would get up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it has been a blast talking about some Bad Batch,
A blast
some-
door.
yeah, selling some kidneys on this show apparently, and the outrageous prices of Disney hotels. But we should probably wrap it
Carl
up. here.
Malone says every time you eat an egg, that's like eating a baby chicken.
Oh my goodness!
oh,
Oh my goodness!
People worry me so much.
I didn't write it.
What do you
I
mean,
just
you
repeated it.
people?
What do you mean, you people?
You people, you
Oh my
three.
goodness!
People.
Crazy people.
People.
But yeah, so hopefully everybody had a good time.
Hit me up.
tonight.
Tell me
Um,
what's most expensive.
next week. We'll probably do, since we have a little bit of a gap between the live streams. Next week we'll play a game. We'll do our Name That Clone. We'll play a little bit of a game, but if you guys want to invite people in,
Are we not going to talk about the finale, or
Yeah, no, we're just all game.
no? We're just
All
the
game.
game the whole time.
It's,
Okay, good.
we're gonna play a round of 21. So first one is 1 points win.
Basketball? That's going to be hard from
Actually, can
long
we play
range.
horse instead?
Yeah.
That would also be hard on Skype from far away in two different states. I don't live in a different state anymore.
Should we play clone instead of horse?
Yes, of course.
I like that better. Yeah, we'll get some Nerf
Like
basketball.
clone instead of horse.
We'll hook it up on the door back
Is there an
here.
echo in here?
Yes, I'm Echo.
All right, guys. Well, we had a blast talking some Bad Batch with you. We've got one more episode next week. Epic conclusion. Epic in.
Wow, you're putting that forward. Okay, yeah, epic conclusion.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be pretty good. So, is it going to be Clone Wars season 7 good? I don't know. That's hard to top. That's really hard.
Very high at that point.
So, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be interesting to see where we go, and we'll just have to wait and see. One more week. But next week we get together, play a game. Invite your friends, invite your family, have them come on out. Check us out. They can listen to our podcast anywhere you can find podcasts. You can find us all over social media, Outer Rim Beacon, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can email us at outerrimbeacon@gmail.com. My name is Justin. You can find me on Twitter at IamTheBendu. Where can they find you guys at?
This is Josh, and I just want to say that I think I can guarantee it'll be, as far as finales go, I think it'll be somewhere between Clone Wars Season 7 and The Rise of Skywalker.
Jesus.
Somewhere in between. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Battle of Tanab. Where's the lies, Kyle?
This is Kyle, and you can tweet me about buying any of my organs I have duplicates of at KB_legend. Or just Venmo me directly, also KB_legend, and I won't have to sell my organs.
You'll have a GoFundMe by the end of this week.
For your organs. This is Maggie. None of my organs are available for harvesting. And you can find me on Twitter at Maggie of the Town. And I have a link tree in my bio to all of my various pursuits and fun things. Yeah, I have lots of stuff.
Busy person.
Reviews. I'm so busy. I'm sitting here thinking about all of the things I have to do this weekend.
Yeah.
She's going to list her organs on Etsy.
Ooh, that's a nice little boutique organ sale.
Yeah.
Good. My eyes aren't for sale though. I don't
Handmade.
think it'd be a good look with an eye patch. Everything else though. Everything else I got duplicates of.
Crazy people. Hope you had fun, everybody. It was great having you. We will see you next week. Everybody, may the force be with you.
Always.
Sometime. Usually.
Chances are not.
Wrong one.
Unidentified vessel. Please submit your clearance codes.
I can bring you an alarm. Or I can bring you in cold.
This is Justin.
The Force will be with you. This is Josh.
This is Kyle.
Always.
This is Maggie.
And we are the Outer Rim Beacon.